What it do? It's your favorite Texas boy, and we back with another video. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, comment, check out all the past videos about Puerto Rico. But today is going to be a good one. It's going to be a sensitive topic, but I think this is going to be an informative conversation. You haven't ever heard me talk about this anytime ever on this channel, because that was never my focus moving here. And so I have been able to be enthralled into this conversation that surrounds Puerto Rico in regards to taxes. This is the first time I'm going to talk about this. I don't really dive too much into this because, I know it's a sensitive subject, but I have now been able to witness for the past year and a half what's been going on, and I just think that there is a miscommunication here. Not saying that the feelings aren't valid, but I just kind of want to, dissect a little bit of it to maybe kind of ease in the conversation and ease in the tensions a little bit, right? So first and foremost, we do know Puerto Rico has a tax benefit for living here for people who move here for the States. It's called Act 60. If your income falls under a certain sect, such as capital gains, for example, or anything in that sector, you're able to move to Puerto Rico and receive a 0% tax break, and then you pay 4% to the island. So I understand that this is going on. There are people who are taking advantage of this. And this is a very sensitive topic out here because, Puerto Ricans and the locals of the island are not able to participate in this, which is a big conversation. It's like, I live here on the island and I get taxed, but people can move from other places which probably have a whole lot more money, and they're able to not be taxed. So it's a very valid point. What's unfortunate about it is that not only Puerto Rico does this, everywhere essentially does this. Every continent has some type of tax breaks or some type of benefits that they give to people who migrate to the island that they don't give to the actual locals that are from there. It's kind of just like a mixing pot thing, a melting pot thing. All continents trying to get people from all different places to come there, do business, live. So every continent has this. The only difference is Puerto Rico is a very small island, right? So if a bunch of people come here, it's not like they can just go anywhere else. The only place to go is the water, essentially. So that's where the big thing is. But I kind of want to talk about the discrepancy of how much this is actually happening in percentage of the people that are moving here. Because in my experience, a lot of people move here and get a bad rap for something they're not and never have been a part of. They weren't even thinking about it, don't even have the business, don't have anything needed to even participate in yet, but yet they get the lash out for it. So we just gonna kind of talk about it, dive into it, and see what it is. So yes, there is again a tax law that gives you a tax break. So let's say you fall under like high dollar real estate, cryptocurrency, forex, stock markets, anything that falls under capital gains. What they call capital gains is basically you making a lot of money in a short period of time, or you making a lot of money off a particular type of flip, something of that nature that isn't like hourly. Like you're not getting paid by the hour, you're not getting paid by something where they're just taxing you like that. You got something, you might flip a house and you make 100 grand, or you might buy crypto and you make 200 grand, and it might happen in 2 days, 4 days, or a month, or whatever the case may be, right? So capital gains is a way that America taxes people who make a lot of money, essentially, right? And they got a law here where if you become a resident of Puerto Rico, which requires you to be here about 183 days, then you can get the tax break as long as your parameters line up. This is not something. This is a misconception. This is not something that you're not just going to be able to come down here, get you a 9 to 5 at a hotel, and then they're going to take your taxes off. That's not how it works. So let's clear that misconception up there. This is not like every American comes down here and gets taxes off of every single thing. That's not how it works. It's for a specific sect of people who are in a financial sector, which makes it very minimal. So I'm going to kind of talk about the percentages, and hopefully this is for kind of like the locals right here, because what I've noticed is your feelings are not invalid. They're not invalid, because it is unfair to have something on the island that you can't take a part of and other people are taking a part of it. But I think that a lot of the anger about it is misdirected to people who aren't participating in it. I know that there are people participating in it, but it's a minute amount, and they just have a lot of money. They just have a lot, and they're doing a lot with it, like the Jake Pauls of the world and the people like that. So I looked up some of the numbers. In 2022, there was an estimated about 27,000 people who moved from the States to Puerto Rico from 2022 to basically like the beginning of 2024. So with all that time, about 27,000 people over that 2 years came to Puerto Rico. Not a lot based on numbers in America. It maybe not even a lot here. That's a bit more, of course, because it's the island. But the amount of those 27,000, the amount of those that actually probably came over and took a part of the tax breaks or were even able to was maybe 1,000 of those people. I can maybe, and that's a maybe. This can give you I'm gonna give and for the locals, this is a real statistic of America. The average American up in the United States, they don't have as much money as you think. The average American has less than $1,000 in their bank account. This is a statistic. This is a fact. Everybody in America just isn't sitting on gobs of money and have a bunch of money coming from everywhere. The statistic in America, the average family household has less than $1,000 in their bank account. This is an average of the entire United States. So when you put that in that perspective, you're thinking only 10% of America really has money like that. And that's a fact. Really only 10 to 15% of America has all the money in America, and everybody else is just getting by. It's a very capitalist nation. You know this. So even if you take that same concept and you transfer it to the people who are coming down here, the same thing is those 90% of those people are the people who don't have more than $1,000 in their account, and they're literally just coming here for a new life and a breath of fresh air, and to be around people who treat them well and nice energy. Puerto Rico is a loving, amazing, peaceful, rejuvenating, spiritual island. And people visit here and they fall in love, and they've never even heard of the tax code. They've never even heard of Act 60. I know so many people who moved here from the States who had no idea about Act 60 till they got here. And they still can't even participate in it because they don't have the credentials or the business or the resume or the money or even making that type of money to participate in it. And they get the short end of the stick. They get treated as if they are coming here to take over. And this is just one conversation I want to have to the locals as one who's come just for peace. Most of the people moving here from the States are not able to participate in that. I'm not saying that there aren't people participating in it. And I understand your feelings are valid because they are doing it on a grand scale. And if you live here, you should have some type of benefits. I 100% empathize with you, and I feel it. It's just sometimes I know even under a lot of my videos, I've been doing videos for a year and a half now. For a year and a half now. I'm probably 220 videos in, and not once have I spoke about coming here for tax breaks. Not once have I come here to talk about any of that. But you will find a lot of comments under here saying that I'm only here for the taxes, that I'm only here for that. Like I didn't have a whole life ahead of me, that this might have been my piece from the things I went through prior. I made a video that's some videos back explaining what I was going through in my life prior to moving here, and how Puerto Rico helped me you know, recover from that, grieve from those things that I lost, and rejuvenate myself. But a lot of people instantly throw me in the tax bracket code. So I just want to say that there are a lot of people who come here simply for a new beginning, simply because they want to get away from the nonsense that is in America and be around loving energy, the welcoming energy of Puerto Rico and the people of Puerto Rico, because y'all are great people. And so I just want this conversation to kind of have a little more delve in it, because I know how serious it is. I'm not trying to downplay it in any fashion. I don't want you to feel like the feelings are invalid. I just know that a lot of people get the short end of the stick on that, and they were never involved in that in the first place. They just came here to start a new life and be good people and not cause problems. Majority of the African Americans that move here don't cause problems. They're just wanting to fit in. And that's another thing that gets misconstrued, as if we come and cause all of the problems. We really don't. Majority of the African Americans come here, if they're coming to visit, they're coming to party and stay in their lane. And if they're coming to move, they're coming to move and stay in their lane. Now, we know that's not everybody, but there is a negative connotation behind African Americans who move down here, and I haven't seen it myself, to where it's like, I think that you're getting that narrative from the internet more than what you actually see. Now, I could be wrong. But my goal here is to bridge the gap and get some understanding for both sides. So for the locals, again, I completely understand the plight of the tax code, and you know, feeling like you can't participate. I totally understand. We also have the same thing in America, where people from Asia can come over and they get benefits that we don't. Up in the States, that Asians are able to come over. There are certain countries in Africa and the Middle East that are also able to come over and get benefits that we are not able to get as Americans from the country. So I completely understand it. It's different here because you guys live on an island. We can't just move everywhere. Feelings are not valid. The only thing that I wanted to point out is that majority of the Americans that are moving here, especially African Americans, aren't participating in that, nor even have the finances to participate. Not all. There are some. We're not going to say none are. There are some. But I think that there's an overwhelming misconception of how many people are actually doing it. And that's where the miscommunication comes in, and I want to be able to clear that up, hopefully. You know, maybe a conversation will help you understand people better before just throwing them in that category. Because for us, we don't want to feel like we're misusing anybody or being treated like we're misusing anybody when we have nothing to do with that part. And so this is me speaking for a lot of islanders, or no, I'm sorry, a lot of African Americans or Americans who move here from the States and get thrown into that tax conversation when essentially they just came down here and got a regular job and are being taxed just like the islanders of the island. They work at a hotel, they might work at a pizza spot, they might work at a bookstore. You know what I'm saying? They come down here and get regular jobs. Now, there is also remote work that happens as well, but they're still being taxed. You know what I'm saying? The only ones that are not being taxed are those that fall under the capital gains sector, which is a minute amount of people. It's a small sector of people. They just have a lot of income, so they're doing a lot of tax breaking and getting around, paying a lot of money. But it is a small group of people. And so I just encourage a conversation to happen if you meet an American coming down from the States first, before automatically throwing them into that boat, because it already breeds a negative energy, and we're coming down here mostly for positivity. Again, the numbers that I'm stating to you are true, so I just want you to transfer that to the numbers of the, let's say those 27,000 people moving to the island. Only 10% of them are able actually to participate in that, and that's if they're doing it right. So I understand the tax conversation. I understand gentrification. Essentially every continent and country in this world has something similar, where if you come from another country, you can get benefits that people of the country can't. It's not just a Puerto Rico thing, but I do understand how it affects the island, how it affects the people of the island, how that small percentage can misplace people on the island. I am completely understanding of that, and I don't think that is right. I'm speaking towards the ones that are moving here that are not a part of that, which is most people. Most people that move to Puerto Rico from the States have nothing to do with that, and don't even know how to participate. So hopefully this can kind of ease tensions a little bit, to where if you go out and you happen to run into an African American or an American in general who has moved here, a conversation can happen first before automatically being thrown into that bucket, because it is an uncomfortable bucket. We don't want to be looked at as users and abusers, because especially from the African American community, we're coming from being misused and abused. We don't want to come from being misused and abused to abusing and misusing people. We're coming to a place of comfort where everybody can feel valid and adequate and welcome. So I just wanted to tap on that for a quick second. Hopefully, you know, it starts conversation in the comments. If there's anything that I'm misunderstanding or wrong about, you know I love you guys, and I encourage you guys to talk to me in the comments. That's one thing that I love about this, is I encourage you guys to talk to me in the comments. So again, this is my first time ever talking about this. I hope you guys, you know, are interested in this conversation and bridging the gap, and hopefully bettering the relations between people who move down here, because that's a big misconception. The way that it's spoken about, you would think 75% of Americans that moving down here are taking advantage of the tax code, and it's so far off. It's only 10%, and it's if they're doing it right, and they have to be making that type of money. Capital gains, you have to actually capital gain something first. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this conversation wasn't too tough or too rant or seemed dismissive. It's not. It's actually me trying to better the relations between those who move down here from the States, because most of them aren't participating in that. And I know the feeling of being thrown in that bucket. So we love y'all. I love Puerto Rico. We come here for peace, tranquility, a new start, a new vibe, new culture, and to learn more about ourselves and really figure ourselves out. So appreciate y'all. Continue to show love. I'm gonna continue to show y'all love. See you on the next video.